you two hold the secret and the power to growing your YouTube channel to 250,000 subscribers, just like our featured guest, Sean Chandler. Whatever your channel niche might be, I'm sure there's going to be some really brilliant takeaways for all of us today. So get out your notebooks and your pens and let's find out how he did it. Please, everyone, join me in welcoming Sean Chandler. Thank you so much for being here today, Sean. It's so awesome to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm always excited to talk about YouTube. And I know in my case, I feel like I'm just so lucky that I get to do YouTube full time. And so anything I can do to help people on their journey, I want to join in on the fun.
Oh, it's so amazing. I've found that to be such a thing with YouTubers who are doing super well, in my opinion. It's like people are just so unbelievably generous. And I
Hmm.
know that you said that when you were in one of your videos that I watched about how YouTubers who talk about movies have been really, really
Hmm.
generous and like just so keen to share and chat and nerd out. And that's what your channel is all about, right? Nerding
Right.
out about about movies.
Talking
So
movies way too much. Yeah.
yeah, I love that. I love that catchphrase. We had Amy in the chat who has a channel about music who said earlier on that your t-shirt is in the
Hmm.
thumbnail of this video.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh my God, I need that says, I love talking music way too
Yeah.
much. It's so good. And I was thinking I need a t-shirt that says, I love talking YouTube way
Hmm.
too much. Yeah, it's so good. Nobu is saying, Sean, your shirt is fire. The Super Mario one is pretty amazing. Is that the
Hmm.
one we're talking about? You got a lot of cool t-shirts.
I try and
Yeah,
find
so
fun ones to like whatever video, whatever movie I'm talking about. Can I find a fun shirt related to it that just, use myself as a decoration in the video for with some fun
yeah.
shirt?
Yeah, it's amazing. Do you sell your merch as well? Is that
The
merch that
t-shirt,
you made?
the t-shirt in the thumbnail, that is one of my merch shirts in my
Yeah.
merch store. That's like the slogan that goes on most of my shirts is I talk movies too much and different styles and formats and just trying to find a language that kind of what is my tribe? What is my
Yeah.
group of people I connect with? How do you capture what led me to start my channel, what happens on my channel, and who will be drawn to my channel? I talk movies too much or we talk movies too much.
Yeah. I love it. That is just so simple and beautiful. I love it. That's beautiful. So, on that, what was it that led you to starting your YouTube channel?
Yes, so my YouTube channel, as it is known now, Sean Chandler Talks About, started in July of 2016. Just had my seventh YouTube birthday a week ago. But really, it goes
Happy
back.
birthday.
Thank you, thank you. Really, it goes back 25 years before that, that I just, growing up, was just kind of always into movies and nerd culture. And my sister and I would ride our bikes to the comic book shop on Saturdays. And that's what my childhood looks like. And then in the late 90s, when I was in high school, there started being enough tools out there that you could make your own websites. And I was on America Online, AOL, and they had their tools to make a website. And I made a Jackie Chan fan webpage. He'd started to release some movies in the United States, and so it's like, wow, this is so cool. This guy does his own stunts, and there's like a picture of his body where you can click on different body parts and see in which movie he got injured. And I stuck with it for like a year, but then I stopped. But even back 20 years before I really had my YouTube channel, I was going to the internet to talk movies way too much. I was going to the internet to share my ideas out there. And then over the next 15 years, I was WordPress, Blogger, Zanga, Live Journal, all the different things. I tried it at some point in time and didn't stick with it. And then starting, I don't know, 12-ish years ago, I started to see people on this thing called YouTube, where I thought that's where you watched funny cat videos and music videos, but people started putting movie content on there. And I was like, oh, I could do that too. I'd be interested in doing that. And so I had about 3 years of false starts on YouTube, but my life was just too busy, too many things going on. So I never stuck with it until summer 2016. I was kind of at a low point in my life of a lot of things because of my own choices, was in a really bad place. And I just returned to that passion of talking movies way too much on the internet. And at that window of time, I had the free time to actually build it out and dedicate to it. And that choice, it was actually The Ghostbusters 2016, the one with the ladies that the internet went insane over. One group of people are like, if you like this movie, it's because you're an idiot. And the other half was like, if you don't like this movie, it's because you're a sexist. And I was like, well, those don't seem like two very good options. That doesn't seem real. So just like, let's just put a normal review out there. Like, yeah, I mean, it doesn't live up to the originals. It's pretty corny and cheesy, but it didn't ruin my childhood or anything like that. Just put a normal review out there. And that choice changed the trajectory of my life.
Wow, that is so amazing. I love the power of talking about something that people can get cranky about.
Yeah.
Like that is just such a like being willing to have people tell you you're an idiot and you're wrong or whatever is actually super, super powerful, because then you're also able to gather the people that think you're really, really right and who want to have a discussion.
Yeah, those polarizing subjects that people go to the internet, they want to voice their opinion. They want someone that affirms what they're saying. They want someone to be mad at, or they want a voice of reason in the middle. And I tend to try to be the voice of reason in the middle that's like, all right, each of you guys kind of have a point, but you're also like way exaggerating the emotion that you should feel about that. Like you're ignoring everything that doesn't confirm your own biases and preconceived notions, and you're getting super passionate and insulting towards other people. Why don't we have someone that like try and be in the middle and realize the people that disagree with me aren't villains and people who agree with me aren't heroes? So let's try and understand where other people are coming from. And that tends to have worked in a space where just everyone is playing to the extremes so much, especially on like Ghostbusters. This is supposed to be fun, silly, a little scary, but somehow it's turned toxic. And like Star Wars, this is supposed to be multi-generational fantasy that, you know, I'm introducing my kids to, and then the internet, we got to fight over this, you idiots. How do you not like the same Star Wars movies as me? You like a different space wizard than me? How dare you? What are we doing?
Oh, that's so brilliant. Bruce in the chat, thank you so much for being here, says Ghostbusters 2016 reaction was like Barbie today. Lol.
That's true. This past weekend, like very much like with Ghostbusters 2016, I tried to have a little bit of like a balanced take. Here's the stuff that was like, it was really funny. I didn't like the way it kind of handled this parts right here. So like, hey, here's the good and the bad, fair and balanced. And on the same video, I had one person come in and calling me an idiot, like, how dare you get involved with this stuff? And the other person was calling me like this toxic troll person. This, like, you're just feeding into the toxicity. I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't know what I did. So it's just fascinating the way that the internet just picks sides, and they want to put everyone else on their sides too. But normal people, we just want to watch movies. We just want to have fun with movies. So yeah, it's just literally this weekend, I've had a wild time. I've had to stay out of my comment section because there were just so many people on both sides that were just looking for a fight. They're not looking to understand. They're not looking for a reasonable discussion of the merits of ideas or a film. They're just looking to like lash out. That's fascinating. It's Barbie. It's Barbie.
Yeah. It's very, very interesting. Do you think... So I've been wondering about this a little bit lately, because I have on one of my channels, I've got a couple of channels, and on one of my channels, I have been getting so much like so many unpleasant comments, and those videos just do so much better than like, do you ever feel like YouTube just kind of thrives on like rage? Because I've been wondering that a little bit lately.
Yeah, I think that's that human behavior side to it of, if it's a topic that's just mildly interesting, people might want to be a little bit informed about it, but it is those subjects that for whatever reason step on toes and ignite people to whether defend a cause or attack the agenda or whatever it is that makes them polarizing, is the same thing that people go to them with passion. And so all the things that trigger YouTube's algorithm of, well, they're clicking on the hot button topic, and then they're mad, so they're leaving a comment, and they're picking a fight in the comment section. So there's two people going back and forth, staying on YouTube longer, as opposed to you talked about something that's like, oh yeah, I kind of agree with that. That doesn't
Yeah.
elicit a big response, doesn't elicit fights in the comment section. And so it's like that inadvertent side to social media that, whether it's YouTube or Twitter or whatever, they all inadvertently end up driving to the top, the most volatile stuff that gets
Yeah.
people in that weird whatever that is. The people that I think the fascinating thing
Yeah.
about it. So I do a lot of like Comic Cons where just to meet fans and do live panels and stuff, and I've never had a weird toxic interaction in person. I'll do fan meetups whenever a new movie comes out and just promote it on my social media. And so I did a real big Comic Con a few months back. And so I talked with probably over 100 people, 200 people or something like that. Everyone was so friendly. And I'd talk to a 15-year-old, and then their parent would be grateful that I was a good role model. Everyone's so friendly. But the anonymity of the internet just gives this confidence, and you talk to people not like a person. You talk to them like a nebulous idea out there. It's the concept of idea. You're talking to a group rather than an individual, and you say things that you would never say to an individual's face, and you say it with a tone and a just a abrasiveness that doesn't really spark conversations, but it's really dehumanizing, really, to both people.
So how did you go with in the beginning when you first started getting, maybe comments that were aimed at you or aimed at your opinion or whatever? How did you go with that when it first started happening? Because I think that's something people can be really frightened of, is getting those yucko comments.
Yeah. So it feels like it's a little bit to what we just said there, that it doesn't happen when you're not getting traction. When you're getting 15 views, it's not like you're getting 5 angry comments from 15 views. It actually is the negative consequence of getting traction. As soon as you have a video that people are actually watching, then suddenly they have an opinion about you. So part of that is what makes it kind of fun. As soon as you have something that's what you've been waiting for on YouTube, you see the bad side of YouTube a lot more. People that are your subscribers, they give you the benefit of the doubt. They trust you. They subscribed because they like you. So even if you say something they disagree with, they're understanding where you're coming from and give you the benefit of the doubt. A new person that comes in because you had one of those videos that touched on a hot button topic, or it just went a little bit viral, whatever that means in terms of the size of your channel, it's new people coming in. They've never met you before. They're evaluating what you're saying in that vacuum. And I think some of it is you just need to learn when you have to leave the comment section. And that is hard, especially early on, because some best practices: respond to every comment with a question, turn it into a conversation. And that's great when it's a healthy conversation and people are looking for an honest conversation. But when you have people that are toxic, disingenuous, and you try and reason with them, all you're doing is they're not coming in good faith. They're looking for another person to argue with. So I think some of it is the part, if you're fearing starting out because you don't want to get the negative comments, keep in mind you're not going to get the negative comments. So there's a little bit of a balancing element in that. So like this weekend, I've gotten so many crazy comments, fights and stuff. But it means also had a great weekend on my channel, got a lot of views. So I got a lot of traction, got a lot of new subscribers out of it. And so there is a balancing side to it. Some of it, you just have days where you go, I'm going to hop out of my comment section for 2 days. This video's just bringing in enough people that this isn't healthy for me. And so I'm going to step away from it. And I that's something that's hard for me to do, because it's like, well, if they're giving me their time, they're choosing to watch my video, they chose to leave a comment. You have to do what's healthy for you. And maybe that's even to say, if you're someone that is just a little bit more sensitive to criticism, then just perhaps maybe even set your guidelines for how you kind of deal with things like that from the get-go, of like, you're not particularly active in the comment section. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll be in the comment section for the first hour after a video is posted, those are all subscribers with notifications turned on. They're great conversations.
Mm.
Later on, you start getting a lot more of the kind of the toxic things kind of coming into it. And the other side that kind of pulls into it, right? I might not even be the best person to comment on this. Everyone knows that the comment section is much more cruel towards women. And so there's things that I don't get as much of, that all of my friends in the movie space that are women, they deal with things I don't have to deal with. And so that's part of it. That's a reality of it. It is a space that has a lot of very cruel dudes in it. Lot of great
Yeah.
dudes. And so it's, even if it's 1% of a billion is a lot of people.
Yeah.
And and it's the loudest voices. And it's, you think you can get 10 people to tell you you're great, and the one person that insults you is the one that sticks. And that is part of what makes it tricky.
Yeah. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I think it's I think it's such a good idea, and Marianne's echoing that. Great idea, setting
Yeah.
boundaries. And it's like, yeah, I've had some medical stuff going on lately, and I just had to go, I'm not engaging at all in the comments. I'm not
Right.
like, and I think that's such a wise thing to know when to, like, for whatever you've got on personally, or if, like, I found that I was being affected by
Right.
stuff that I wouldn't typically be affected by. I would typically be like, oh, what an idiot. And I
Right.
was like, it hurts. And it's like, okay, just step away for a while.
And realizing that we're holistic beings with a life, that every moment isn't the same. It's not in a vacuum. And if you've got stuff going on in your personal life, if you've been stressed related to other things, like you said, certain contexts, you're a lot more sensitive to things than you otherwise would have been. There was one a little bit back where I handled it poorly, where it was a pretty stressful first half of this year for good reasons. I did a lot of travel. My wife did a lot of travel. It was all great opportunities, but it meant we were always out of equilibrium. We were always preparing for the next trip, or recovering, or where one of us is at home while the other's traveling. So it was just a weird 6 months, a lot of stress. I had a video that I put a lot of time into. I thought was going to do great. I posted it at a very exhausted phase. Went in the comment section in the first 20 minutes, and someone left a comment that was, it was phrased in a manner that was a little bit matter of fact, in a way that was just irritating to me. Anyone else would probably read it and it wouldn't mean anything to them, but it's the sort of thing of like a comment I've received multiple times in a way that was trying to disregard my opinion. And so I'm running on empty. I'm tired. It's a question that I have baggage with, that person doesn't know I have baggage with. And I responded wrong. Like I was snarky in my response in a way that I would never otherwise be. And then, comment section turned on me in a way that they don't normally turn on me, because I don't write comments like that usually. And so it was like I mishandled the whole thing, but it all boiled down to, I shouldn't have been in the comment section in the first place. Like, I was exhausted and irritated going in. Don't go into the comment section when you're in the mood that you're going to be picking fights with people, that you're going to interpret things in the least generous way possible. That's a bad idea. And you can see people that do that on the internet all the time, that they go on the internet and they don't know when to say no. And they're just like, oh, please stop. Please stop. You're not doing yourself any favors right now. And that was one about 2 months ago where I failed the test. I acted poorly.
Yeah. The Creator Classroom says it takes a huge person to admit they were wrong. Yeah. But it's tough sometimes, isn't it? Because like you said, we are human.
Yeah. It's in our own, we're not, unless you're actually a crazy person or something, you're not doing it intentionally to be the villain of the story. Like, I felt like this person slighted me in what they wrote, because I was in a state of mind where I was just not thinking, they're just writing their opinion, and maybe they wrote it clumsy, but they don't know that you've been getting this same comment for 5 years in a dismissive fashion. They don't know any of that. They don't have any of that history. They have nothing to do with my baggage, but I responded as if they've been all along with the whole, so, oh, well, and did one of these deals of like, but yeah, it's tough to like we all have those moments of weakness, or just you step back and pause, like, all right, would I want this to be out there tomorrow? just those little things. Stop. I'm thinking about the person I'm actually writing to. Have I even stopped to think about that? It's tricky because comment sections, Twitter, they equalize everything. And like I default to assuming everyone I'm talking to, unless I know otherwise, is me, essentially, that they're a 40-year-old man. But they're not. They're not. I'm talking to a lot of high schoolers. I'm talking to college kids. Like, but I default to assuming that avatar that's in my brain, it's just me.
Yeah. Oh, so interesting. This is such an interesting chat and has almost nothing to do with any of the questions that I had pre-prepared. But I love that.
Yeah, we went down this rabbit trail. I was like, oh, what are we talking? We're talking about the toxicity of the internet. Huh? Interesting.
It is so interesting.
How to grow on YouTube. Use the toxicity of the internet and be sure not to be a jerk. Pause.
And try not to take it personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's so interesting though, and I think it's all totally relevant, because that fear of those kinds of conversations happening in the comments can stop a lot of people from even posting their first video or posting something that they're worried might be a little bit controversial or whatever. And it's like, well, that can really help you find your people. Speaking of toxicity though, because I have personally found YouTube Shorts to be the most toxic place in the whole internet. Bozzy says, does posting shorts help to get subscribers? I'd love to hear your take on that, Sean.
So that's a great both of the two things you just mentioned are actually great for me at this particular moment. I started to double down on shorts in May. Going into the summer movie season, this is when the most big movies come out. So it's like, let me try and really do a lot of shorts. And what that's meant for me as someone that already has kind of a successful channel, the last 2 months has by far been the best window of time I've had in terms of just views. Of like right now, at this exact moment, is the most views by a factor of like 2 million that I've ever had in a 28-day period of time. And that's all driven by shorts. So to the simple question of, do shorts, are they a great way to grow? If your goal is just to get subscribers, right now, shorts are the shortest way to grow in the year 2023. You can produce more of them in a shorter period of time because they are shorter. YouTube's algorithm is pumping them out more. People watch more of them because it's this. You can cross-post them on TikTok, on Reels, on Facebook with the same exact video, put them on 4 different platforms. So in that regard, they, I think, absolutely are a great tool to be able to get far more exposure. Like, that's for me, like, this is working so well to get so much exposure in a very short period of time. And it's easy to, once this live stream is done, I will probably ask you if I can clip out some segments into some shorts. I will probably do that. Well, actually, I'll do that right now. Can I do that?
No, just kidding. Yeah, so, of course you can.
But so like the sort of idea of like, because they're so easy, like some little segment of here, you can take what we're talking about right now and turn it into a short. And it works. And and it's a nice little bite-sized piece that people kind of scroll through. So they watch so many of them so fast. So that's the first thought to it. But what you win people with is what you win them to. So if you want to have an hour-long podcast, if you want to make 10-minute long tutorials, and you get 10,000 subscribers because you're killing it with shorts, you set yourself up, you kind of got yourself in a trap there. Because you won them with little bite-sized 30-second scroll, low attention span. But what you really want is someone that wants to go deep, and you won them with something shallow. So it's tricky. Yeah. So it's kind of a matter of what serves your actual goals. So for me, like my goal is kind of more exposure. And if you want a bite-sized 60-second review of a movie, I'm going to give that to you. And then a day later, I'm going to give you the 10 to 20-minute version where I go through all the details for it. So I'm making reviewing one movie 2 different ways for 2 different audiences. And I thought at first maybe people would start complaining, hey, you already reviewed this. Why are you reviewing it again? It appeals to 2 different groups of people. One is bite size and one is depth. So you have to think, if all your goal is to grow, and you're fine with whatever that looks like, shorts are the shortest way to grow right now. They're a very quick way to get exposure. They're bite size. You can take your long form and easily convert it into great shorts. There's all the options of what you can do, but don't get yourself in a trap. And I know some people that are in the movie space that have exploded with shorts, but what they really want to do is long form.
Yeah.
And it's tough to convert people back and forth.
Yeah. So yeah, that's something that I see people asking a lot and questioning a lot in different Facebook groups and stuff is like, are shorts going to help me get views on my long form content?
Yeah.
And probably not. It
Yeah.
sounds like in your experience.
Yeah. So, and I don't think they're totally detached. Like, if you know who I am and you like me, are you more likely to watch this other thing? Sure. Now that you know who I am, that's a door's open. But the person that wants to watch a short is not the same person that wants to watch a 10-minute video. Like, I don't really watch shorts. I don't spend a lot of time on TikTok. That's just not how I consume content. But then there's a bunch of people that they spend all day long on TikTok doing this. And I view it as two kind of different audiences. And so, like, a lot of people that they want the short to just be a trailer for the full video. And there can be a little bit of that of, you know, if I clip out something from this live stream, a different live stream or a video or whatever, absolutely there's a side to it where a lot of times I'll be like, hey, check out the whole interview right here. And the likelihood that a percentage will click on that is pretty high. Oh, that was an interesting conversation. I want to hear more about that. They'll click on it. At the same time, if you're just creating a short that doesn't offer value, just to get them to watch something where you do offer value, then people are just not going to click on your shorts anymore. The strategy doesn't work. But to another thing you said earlier about shorts being having a lot of toxicity, I mentioned earlier about how I've had a lot of rage over this weekend, even on the same piece of content, both sides coming at me, opposite criticisms from the same video. It was a short. And on TikTok, when I post stuff over there, I almost never read the comments because it's not people interested in nuance. It's not people interested in actual discussion of ideas, unpacking things. It's people that they want that bite-size thing. People judging me, making horrible accusations based off of this much information they have about me, and then they fill in the gaps. You know, like Photoshop now has this AI generation thing where they take a picture like this and it can expand it to this. That's what TikTok does in the comments section. They take, you said this one sentence, and then they fill in the narrative to justify a rationale for why you did that. And it's always the worst possible interpretation that you have some nefarious motives. Like, what? I said I'm not excited about this movie because they don't have a script yet. And where did you come up with all this other stuff? They just invent things. It's crazy. And it seems like shorts in particular, because it's a format that it's a short. It's bite size. There's not a lot of nuance. There's not a lot of detail. And for whatever reason, that group of people, they just like to fill in the gaps.
Yeah. And there's a lot of, when a video is only 15 seconds, there are an awful lot of gaps. There are an awful lot of gaps.
Yeah. I'm just trying to understand other people and think, what are they doing? Like, what are you just spending that much time on the internet that you've in your own little bubble that you've forgotten how to like talk to people and you're just looking for fights? Like, I'm fascinated when I read some of these comments, like, you don't know anything about me. You just like said horrible things about me. You don't know anything about me. How I treat people. You haven't even watched the second video yet. And you just came up with this crazy theory about me.
Yeah. I had a really fun comment on a YouTube short the other day where someone said, like, you just want people to know who you are. You're part of the look at me crowd. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so bizarre. Because isn't that literally everyone who has a YouTube channel or is creating any kind of comment is hoping kind of maybe someone watches it? Like, it's just, sometimes they're just really nothingy comments, and those ones are kind of fun.
Yeah.
They're a fun little party starter.
Here, can I pause up real quick?
Absolutely.
We're a little trying to. I've made a mistake. Here, do I sound much better now?
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry about that. I messed up. I didn't plug my kids guy's mic right here, but it
Yeah.
was, I looked down. I was like, wait, that cord isn't plugged in. So now this is what I'm supposed to sound like. Very sorry about that.
Oh, wow. That sounds amazing. But I think maybe the problem is, do I now sound totally terrible compared to you? Let us know in the chat.
Very, very
That's so
sorry
good.
about that. This right before we started, I had like chaos downstairs with my kids, where it's like, oh, I got to resolve this. So I was rushing upstairs, and I was running a few minutes late, and forgot to plug in my microphone.
Oh, look, it
Whoops.
happens to the best of us. Happens to the best of us. We have a question from Kareem who says, "What are both of our favorite thing about being YouTubers?" I'll let you take that one first. What's your
Well,
favorite thing about being a YouTuber?
so like for me, there's a few elements to it. I work for myself, doing something that I did when I made no money doing it. I started doing this just because I enjoyed doing it. I wanted to take my ideas to the internet. I like to share my ideas, and I did that when there was no reward other than creating it itself. And now I make a living doing that. That's cool. And in particular,
That's very cool.
when you talk about movies for a living, it also gives you opportunities. Like I get to see movies before they come out for free, and I get to take my kids or my friends. That's cool. And it's doing something that I would have done if I didn't get paid for it. And there's cool rewards that go with it along the way. But then, to answer the question that was asked and a different question that ties into what we've been talking about, the best and the worst thing about being a YouTuber is the people. The 99% are great. As I mentioned in here before, if I go to a Comic Con, if I do a fan meetup, everyone is so friendly and so warm, and it's like I've found my tribe of people. There was actually one a month back. Went to go see the new Indiana Jones movie. Just that little told people where I was going to be at. Some people showed up, and my wife was out of town, and my kids were at their grandparents, and so I didn't have anywhere to be. I ended up staying at the theater talking to a couple of fans of my channel until like midnight because we're just talking movies, and so you just immediately connect with people. And some of my best friends are my fellow YouTubers, people that I literally met 7 years ago, right when we both started. And my 40th birthday was last year. And what did I want to do for my 40th birthday? I like traveled cross country to finally meet this guy that I've known on YouTube for 6 years. Finally met him in person. And this was also right after COVID. So over the last year and a half, I've met him in person 3 or 4 times now. That's cool. But as we talked about in here, there's the 1%, and that is the part that is the toughest part, is that people can be very cruel in the way they react to you. But people getting to do something you enjoy, it's cool. It's rewarding to be able to put something out there that you're proud of, or your ideas that you're interested in, have people go, oh, I like the way you think. I like the way you break down movies. That's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I will echo that. Like the community is absolutely my favorite thing about creating content on YouTube, and being able to help people and having a really positive impact in people's lives. Like that's so cool. That is so cool. And people all over the world potentially can connect with the content that you're producing is just amazing. It's amazing.
That's
Yeah.
even why you do interviews like this, put out videos talking about YouTube. One of the main panels that I do when I do go to Comic Cons is how to grow a nerdy YouTube channel. And it's because it changed the trajectory of my life. I started this little thing summer 2016, and that little choice to review Ghostbusters 2016 changed the trajectory of my life. It was healing for my family, put me in a better position, gave me kind of this dream job where I work for myself, doing something cool and interesting for a living, getting to meet all these wonderful people. And I'd failed for nearly 20 years trying to make stuff happen. And finally I learned some things, and I went, I can share what I learned. I can pass that along and help other people have the success that I've had, whether they have as much success and pass me, or whether it just helps them have a hobby that's more satisfying. Whatever it is, I can help people experience what I'm experiencing.
Yeah, it's amazing. And it's just so, Yeah, like I was saying before, it's just so amazing to me how beautifully generous people are with their information. There's
Hmm.
like such a willingness to
Yeah.
share in this. And I guess that's because everyone started with 0
Yeah.
subscribers.
Hmm.
Like we all started that way.
Yeah.
We have a great question come through from the Creator Classroom. Sean, what's your process for deciding what videos to make, and how long does it take you to decide, film, and edit?
Okay. So the starting point for me is because I cover movies, you can have a certain idea of what your tentpole events will be. You have a pretty good idea of what the hot topics will be on a given week. So I could have told you 6 months ago that this weekend I was going to be talking about Barbie, Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan. I could have told you that 6 months ago because I just looked at the calendar. So I start each year and I map out the whole year. I look at every movie release date and map it out. And I just kind of do a brainstorming session of what are the types of videos that I do, which ones apply to each of these different movies, whether movie review, which ones feel like a spoiler review. And so how does that translate to people in different spaces? Just well in advance, look at your space and know what are the tentpole events. What is your Super Bowl? What is your whatever your space is, the things that people are excited about that will draw people to your space, searching for topics, wanting to talk about it, and just know those in advance. And just look at your content of videos that you've done. What are the types of videos that have been successful, and overlap those two lists? How can I take these types of videos with these upcoming events and overlap them? So I start the year with this big gigantic brainstorm, and then like some years I've even like brainstormed like 500 video ideas before the year starts. And there's infinite
Wow.
more topics that'll come out because you never know what movie news will happen or what crazy things at like this weekend at the box office was crazy because both Barbie and Oppenheimer did way better than they were supposed to. And so it's like this big topic of conversation. Barbenheimer. No one predicted Barbenheimer, but you knew Barbie and Oppenheimer would be conversations. And so like little things like that, but just having an enormous set of ideas. There's always something I can pull from to talk about. And then looking about a month out, all right, what am I actually going to do? What am I going to do this week? What's working right now? So like the shorts, I've discovered multiple new series because I just experimented a little bit. Always have a couple experiments going and see which ones click. And then all right, that one worked. How do I take this thing that worked with my other subjects that I cover frequently that have been hit in the past, overlap the two lists, and come up with more ideas. So that's kind of where my ideation comes from. Just a lot of looking what's coming out, looking what's worked in the past, and always looking for what might work in the future. I've done this a short series called Buy, Sell, or Rent with movie news, casting. Do I buy it? Do I sell it? Do I rent it? Real simple, catchy, great for a short, super digestible. Yeah. Also, very prone to get people mad at you because you're not going into detail. But it's just like a simple idea that's come about in the last few months. Every one of them's been a hit. I'm looking for more, like, all right, how can I do one of those every week? So then, how long does it take me to create a video? For me, it's all over the place. So I talk about movies, and I'm kind of the ranking guy. Like all 7 Mission Impossible movies ranked worst to best. I did one on the Steven Spielberg movies earlier this year. He has 34 movies. I watched all 34 movies. So immediately, that's over 70 hours of watching movies for one video. And then,
wow.
And then filming, essentially that's 34 mini reviews. That's a long shoot. But I wrote notes on all of them. Notes on all of them. And I had to download trailer footage for 34 movies and download the movie poster for 34 movies. So how long does it take me to edit that video? But I also do trailer reactions. So a new trailer for The Marvels dropped a couple days ago. Took me less than 10 minutes to film it. Took me less than 10 minutes to edit it. Between when the trailer dropped and usually with a trailer reaction, you know when they're going to drop. And so between when the trailer drops and when my video drops is about a 45-minute jump from literally, it's on their trailer's on the internet. I shoot it, I edit, I render it, I upload it, I do all my metadata, create a thumbnail. 45-minute turnaround. Steven
Wow.
Spielberg video, you can't, that's a third of one movie. So it's all over the place. And so it's because of what I do, talking movies, that comes in so many different forms and fashions. There's no one answer. It legitimately, some of my video shoots are 2.5 hours long. Others are 7 minutes. So
Yeah. Wow. The creator classroom says, wait, isn't Sean married? And does Sean's spouse appreciate this research? Well, yeah. How on earth? This is what I saw on your channel, doing a little bit of stalking, little pre-interview stalking. It's very important. And I saw
we
that
all do the internet stalking, yeah.
You've got to. I saw that you have released just a casual 55 videos in the past month.
Yes.
And so I was wondering
on my main channel.
On earth. Okay.
Because there's another
so
20
more.
plus on a second channel. So it's about 70
do you
videos.
have a team, or like are you doing everything yourself? Like, I mean, you can't get a team to watch the videos for you.
No.
Like,
so that's this. Well, I said there's a second channel with more videos. I have a guy that edits those ones for me, and essentially, I have a Patreon page where I do a couple live streams each week, and it's about 2-3 hours of live streams, and then I pick the best segments, and I have him go off and convert those into little news segment pieces. And so then I post those on the second channel. He does 90% of the editing over there, and it's kind of a break even on AdSense, but every video is a sales funnel for Patreon to get on the membership site.
right.
And so then that's actually kind of how the business model for that works. And it's been fantastic. I'm like, oh, this is really cool. It makes every live stream better because everyone asks better questions because they want me to clip it out and put it on the other channel. And then it makes content on the second channel that's interesting and engaging on topics people are actually interested in, that are relevant and kind of different from what I do on the main channel. And so whenever I had the idea to let me really expand that going into 2023, it was like, oh, this is fantastic. But it meant I brought in an editor, but it didn't take anything off my plate. So when you talk about the 55 videos on the main channel, those are pretty much all edited by me. Now, keep in mind, that's a lot of shorts, though. That's a lot of shorts. And
but
for
still.
me, true. It's been a wild month. Some of it's because, as I mentioned earlier, the last 28 days have been the best 28 days in terms of views that my channel's happened. Success is motivating. When you see every time I post something, it does fantastic. It's difficult to take your foot off the gas, and it's very easy to be like, well, things are going great. Let me keep going until I hit this number. And it's going to slow down in a couple weeks anyway, because the summer movie season ends, kids go back to school. So if I can sprint a couple more weeks, then I can really calm down for a while. But that's something I'm very much, even tomorrow, the editor guy's going to come over here, and I'm going to actually start working with him to start trying to take some of the stuff from my main channel and pass them off to him, because it is not a sustainable pace what I've been doing, and anyone trying to do it, I wouldn't recommend it. And some of that's, the seasons and the rhythm of your space. It's the summer movie season. I'm always going to be sprinting during the summer movie season. Late August, September, not as many movies come out. Don't need to sprint. Don't need to I got to get videos. I got to make it happen. So I can take my foot off the gas. That's a window of time that's better for me to take time off, do other things. Right now, whatever I post, it's just teeing off. It's red hot. So some of it's that. But yeah, I'm working to bring someone in. Thus far, it's primarily just me.
Yeah, wow. That's amazing. In my Facebook community, I was sharing about some of your stuff with the folks in there, and they were just mind blown at the fact that you have produced, I think, it's 2,400 videos. That is unfathomable. It's such a huge number.
Some of it in the movie space, it is a little bit easier to produce the content because it's so much talking head opinion pieces. So it's easier to have a templates for my videos, a structure that both I watch a movie and my brain by now can easily sort it and make notes pretty quickly. And then likewise, I have templates for my videos, so a lot of the editing's pre-done for me. And so it just because this is where this lower third pops up, this is where this card pops up. It's all preloaded in there. So some of it it's much easier. It's easier to create videos of the type that I'm doing than in other spaces where like I can only do one video per week. Well, movie space, some of these are a lot easier to create. Like I can't create the Steven Spielberg video. I couldn't have created 2,400 of those. But other ones like trailer reactions, I've had days where I put out like 5 trailer reactions in a day because it was like a Comic-Con happened, 5 trailers dropped that were all huge. And so I'm just sitting there cranking out trailers, and it wasn't like a stressful day because they're really easy to create.
So, what's the deal with Shannon has just asked, how do you use copyrighted clips and stuff? Like, have you bumped into troubles along the road with copyrighted stuff?
Not trouble, but there's complications. So YouTube is like the wild, wild west, that there's not really set policies on it. And there's what the laws say, but the laws predate the technology of YouTube, so it's not specific enough to for YouTube to want to take a stance. They don't want to make the movie studios mad, they don't want to make the music companies mad, but they don't want to make creators mad, and so they kind of play this middle space where they don't commit to it. So if I do a trailer reaction, so essentially I play the trailer, film myself watching it, and so me in the low, it's kind of in the lower corner, and you're seeing my face, ooh wow, doing that stuff, and then I talk about it afterwards. I go into that assuming it'll probably get a copyright claim, not a strike, but a claim. A claim means that the monetization is either split with me and the person claiming it, or all the money goes to the other person. I'm not in trouble, but I'm probably not making money. I do trailer reactions because they don't take long to create, for the exposure and because I want to talk about the subject. And in a trailer reaction, I'll say, oh, I've actually already talked about this series, this franchise. You can check out my video right up here. And so I do that as promotion for a different video that's longer form and actually has my ideas in it. But I assume it'll get a claim, and I'm probably not going to make money on it. That's just I've kind of accepted that. Sometimes I make money. Usually they get claimed. A strike is where you get in trouble. Strike means 3 strikes, you're out, they delete your channel. I've never received a strike on my channel. And I have,
wow,
I don't know, 15, I guess probably 2,000 of my videos probably include footage from trailers. I've never received a strike. My policy is I keep clips under 5 seconds. And it's to demonstrate the movie that I'm talking about. And so if you look at fair use.
Fair use, yeah.
Fair use. I mean, it talks about using pieces of the work for the purpose of criticism. There's arguments, like it's right there in the law. And so I just keep it short. So if anyone suggests that I'm doing this just to like steal their work, it's very clear. I'm talking about it. It's this little bite-sized chunk. So I keep the clips under 5 seconds. But YouTube doesn't want to take a hard stance. And so certain companies are very generous in allowing you to do that. Disney claims very little. Right. Paramount is horrible. Just claims everything, just like crazy in baffling ways. Like you put out a video telling this is the best movie all year, go see it, do whatever you take the whole family, and they'll claim your video, which is so demotivating.
Wow.
Like I put out a video telling people to, it's strange, especially in the world of sponsorships where people will pay you to promote their thing, and then Paramount dings you so that they can get the half a penny. While you are like, you're doing what would otherwise be worth dozens, hundreds, thousands of dollars, individually telling people to watch their thing, and they're demotivating you for a penny of AdSense. It's crazy. There was one wild one where the movie Nope came out a year ago, the Jordan Peele film, and a bunch of my friends did trailer reactions for it, and they got blocked by Universal. Like blocked. No, you people can't see it. My local rep for Universal emailed me, "Hey Sean, are you going to cover this? Can you put out a video about Nope?" And I was like, "Well, nope," because all my friends covered it, and you guys blocked it. And so whatever you guys can tell your higher ups that they need to rethink their policies on this stuff,
Wow.
because like you're trying to do your job, asking me to cover it. I there's no reason I would make a video because it'll get blocked, not just demonetized. They blocked it. People were talking about your movie on their platform, and you blocked
Yeah,
it,
wow.
which is
Nobu
baffling.
says, sounds like someone at Paramount HQ doesn't understand the media landscape in 2023.
They
Yeah,
absolutely don't. Say in Universal and
bizarre.
Paramount, they don't get it at all. They're just like, just whether it's just the lawyers or someone just being like, well, we can make dozens of dollars claiming these videos at the cost of thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars of free promotion. Like, let the fans speak, talk, go viral with it. Like, I absolutely sometimes don't cover things from specific studios because it's like, that'll get claimed anyway. And I'll cover
Wow.
it differently. I scale back on how good the video can be because they will claim things, and so then it's not as good of a video promoting, talking about, praising their thing. It's baffling. But as what rules do I use? I keep clips under 4 seconds for ones that don't have audio. If I use audio, I'll start to, like, once again, try and clip it and short. Sometimes I'll do things like I'll flip it and mirror it. I'll put a film reel on top of it or something just to, like, be able to use my 8 seconds without losing all monetization on a 20-minute video over an 8-second clip.
Yeah. Oh, they sound like just absolute silly billies. Um,
It's like, it's the sort of thing where it feels like they've never stopped to think about it. There's just someone made a decision
yeah.
that doesn't even know what YouTube is. The person with the power doesn't have any clue what they're making a rule about.
What's this YouTube? I've never heard of
Yeah.
it.
Wait, they're using clips from our stuff? Let's claim it. Like, well,
It's so,
we're not going to make
so
any money off of
ridiculous.
this.
Now I'm getting conscious of the time. We only have a few minutes to go. So if anyone has any burning questions, I know that I've missed some, and I'm very sorry about that. This conversation has just been going nuts, which is fantastic. But yes, I wanna ask you. It's the title of the video, so I feel like I probably ought to. What's your secret? What's the secret? What's the big secret? I feel like it's not a massive secret, but what's the big secret? Why do you think your channel has done as well as it's doing?
Yeah, so I think everyone wants the secret of the trick or the hack, and it's not like that. And people are like, well, what are the right tags that I should use to make my video grow? And what do I need to put in my description? And they're looking for the objective, concrete, do this and you will get this. And that's what makes it hard. It's not that simple. What was the story of how my channel grew? I got about 9 months in and I was growing steadily, but not quite as fast as I wanted to. Doing movie reviews, occasional rankings, trying lots of different things. 9 months in, I looked at my content and I went, when I do a movie review, I get 100 views. When I do a franchise ranking, I get 500 views. I'm not great at math, but 500 is more than 100. Why don't I do more of this thing that gets more views? And they take longer to make. I have to do more work to create these. It's not as easy. And I tried to make the best ones that I could make, and my channel started to grow twice as fast. And then I went, why don't I make videos that I would actually watch? Because I was making them and they were too long. I wouldn't watch them. So what if I made them shorter that I would actually watch them and maybe add a little bit more humor in? So now I made a video that's a length that I would watch, that on a topic people are more interested in, and then that's where my channel started to explode. And so at the end of the day, are you making the same videos as everyone else? If you make the same videos as everyone else, you compete with everyone else. If all you do is see someone that you love their content and copy it and just make your version of it, then you're competing against someone established that you acknowledge is better than you. And they're always far more likely to appear in search and recommendations because they're established and they've been doing it a lot longer. You're just a cover band of this person that you like. So you have to find the place where you can uniquely add value. And then figure out what that is. Are you funny? Are you more insightful? Like for me, I'm okay watching tons of movies to do rankings and rewatching movies I've seen before, or watching through a franchise that I'm not crazy about, but I'm just curious about. And maybe they're bad, but I'm just curious to check out this awful franchise to do the ranking. I'm more okay with that than most people, and I'm willing to watch through the movies, write new notes every time, and so my rankings are just a little bit better, a little bit more insightful. I'm not ranking a franchise based off of 15-year-old memories. So I'm adding a little bit more value than other people that are doing this. So where can you offer value? What are you actually good at? Where can you make a video that's actually worth someone's click and worth someone's time? You're asking them to give you their time rather than someone else. So how are you going to do that? So you've got to be able to come up with ideas that are different, but not too different. It has to be something fresh and new, but not so wacky that people don't know what it is. They have to be able to look at the title and go, oh, that's interesting. That a title and a thumbnail combined that create a little itch in their brain. And so they want to click on it. That's how you scratch the itch, is to click on the video. And in the movie space, if you're the 100,000th channel doing a review of Barbie, they're going to pick 100,000 people before you. So what are you doing with your title and thumbnail and the concept of the video itself to stand out, to be unique, that with all the other things going on, that they pick your video, and then you have to deliver on the promise of the title and the thumbnail. Hey, Karis, I'm actually in the middle of a phone call right now.
That's so funny. I just thought that was my door opening and looked around to it. Your microphone is so good.
Do you want to just say hello? Oh, all right. Well, that'll work.
Hi. Amazing. Oh, that's so brilliant. That's such excellent advice.
But it's the advice that nobody wants to hear at the same time, because it's the hard work. Like you can't
time, right?
You have to experiment. You have to try a lot of things, and you'll have an idea that you love. That doesn't mean that it works. You don't necessarily know what you're good at, and to offer value, unique value, you have to do the work. Like one of my YouTube buddies that just took off, went past me like crazy. He's just exploding on the internet. When the new Space Jam movie came out a couple years back, they put the trailer out. He went to the trailer, and it's filled with cameos of characters from Warner Brothers properties. He went through frame by frame, looked at every character in that trailer, and then researched them. Even the most obscure character, researched them and did a video breaking down every cameo in the Space Jam Legacy trailer. Hours of research. You know what I did as soon as I watched the Space Jam trailer and then I saw his little video right below it? Oh, wait, he did all the work for me? I don't have to do the work? I clicked on his video, and that's my family watched it. So his video got 2 million views or whatever because he offered value. He made something that was that interesting next step. Oh, you watched the trailer? Now someone has actually pointed out everything and everyone that's in there. So how can you provide something that offers value? It's tough to find it. It requires doing the work. But that's kind of where it's at. And then you have to package it. And it's the combination of both. You have to have a great idea that offers value, and then you have to package it with a title and a thumbnail that are enticing, that tease the value, that create that itch in the brain so people want to scratch it and they got to click on the video to make that happen.
It's brilliant advice. I'm not seeing it in StreamYard, but apparently there's some spammers in the chat, which is great. It looks like the Creator Classroom's taking care of that. Thank you so much. Folks, if you have enjoyed learning from Sean, which I can't imagine you haven't, this is where I want you to go next. This is a video on Sean's channel, which is all about how people can start their own movie channel. And it's brilliant. I watched it last night, and I think it's so amazing because it really does pretty much everything in there. All of those tips are all very much related to whatever niche you're in. Like, there are a couple of very movie specific things, but it's going to be really relevant for anyone who's watching. Thank you everyone so much for joining us today. And Sean, thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining us. It's been such an amazing conversation. You're a legend.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being had. All right. Thanks, folks. Bye.